I'm here for the chat. I'm here for the social time, and I haven't done online improv too much, but I've watched a couple of your episodes and have really enjoyed the lineup that you've had. So I was really happy to get the invitation and ready to play. So
In this
Awesome.
situation?
Well, I am very excited. We can do however you want it to be. A lot of them are like, one scene real time, but that doesn't mean it has to be. It's kind of like play how you want to play, and I'm there.
I love it.
uh, I will
I was
bring
gonna say
it.
I made my career on Duoprov, so this
Oh,
is
really?
totally my wheelhouse. So
This is perfect. Let's see. I'll tell you how many suggestions we got, and then you just pick a
pick a
number.
number. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was seeing them pile up a little bit, so I was trying not to look.
I did buy a book. My buddy David Escobedo wrote a book on suggestions.
Oh, I know that name. He's another one that I know, like mostly online and haven't spoken to specifically, but that's great.
It's great. It's this one, and it's like 300 pages.
Of
It's
just
just like
words.
it's just suggestions. It's so
I
great.
love it.
So I'm like, that's my next thing is I'm going to just go through that book
Pick a page in the book.
yeah, and use it. Let's see. We have give me a number between 1 and 12.
Let's see. Amy picked 7 this morning. I can't pick 7. 2.
Don't you fucking pick
I
7.
will not pick the same number. I must be unique.
Our suggestion comes from Angela. And this is great. Our suggestion is 1 second. 1 second. All right. Thanks, Angela.
Angela.
Just give me 1 second. 1 second.
Are you fucking serious? I waited in this line this whole time? Where's this guy going now? He's got to take a bath.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you for hi.
Hi.
Thank you. Hang on 1 second.
Excuse me. Hey. Oh, God. This guy, what kind of place is this?
Okay. Thank you so much for waiting.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Sorry. Hi. I'm so sorry. I sort of am getting a vibe from you. And I'm excuse me? Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Sorry.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Hi. Excuse me. Nelson.
Yeah.
Hi, Nelson.
Yeah. Tom Nelson. Yep.
I really need a little bit of assistance here. And
I'm helping someone.
no, you're not.
I'm helping someone.
You
Doug.
are not. You have
Doug,
yet.
I'm helping someone. Right. Give me 2 seconds. All right. Sorry. Hi.
This is actually a little bit more than a 2-second problem. So if you want to tell him to maybe just.
Doug, back off, Doug.
Mr. Nelson.
Yeah, hi.
Can I speak to your manager? I'm sorry. Can I speak to your manager, please?
Yeah. I'll just get him. Hey, Doug, now you're wanted, buddy. Yes?
Hi. Are you the manager?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Hi, Douglas. Listen, I am having a little bit of a problem here, and I just like it solved. And Mr. Nelson was a little bit hesitant to sort of jump in with both feet, so I was hoping that. I'm sorry.
There's.
Sorry. Do I have your attention?
Yes, you do. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I do appreciate that. I'm having a little bit of an issue with the air mattress that
Can I
ordered.
interrupt you for just a second? There's a slight fire. Give me 1 second.
What is a slight fire? Is there a fire? No, I don't hear a bell.
Hi, I'm Tom. Oh, hi. Hi.
Yes. Hi. Still me. Is there should we all be evacuating? Is that?
Doug said it was a slight fire,
Yeah, I
which
don't know what a slight fire
I
is.
gotta be honest with you, I don't know what it is either, because I feel like once there's a fire, it isn't just like a
Either a
contained
fire
thing.
or
It's
it's
gonna
not a fire,
spread. Yeah, yeah,
right? We agree?
yeah.
All right. So I want to know first, I have a new first question. My first question is, do we need to leave? My second question is, if we don't need to leave, perhaps you could help me with a little issue I had with. It's Black Friday. Lauren, it's Black Friday. You cannot expect great customer service on Black Friday, Lauren.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Sorry
Hi,
about that. The fire seems to be contained.
I'm
So
glad.
the first question, you do not need to leave. You don't have to evacuate. You've been waiting very patiently, might I add. Thank
So
you.
patient. Thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
noticing. I do appreciate that. I have a question about the air mattress that I wanted to buy here at Black Friday. I'm having a question because it doesn't say on your website and it doesn't say on the box here whether it's a twin size. It's a good thing I'm not my mother.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Mhm.
We have Doug and I have different definitions of what slight means, and he wants to argue semantics, and I'm like, it's a lot bigger than a slight. But again, says everything's okay. So you were talking. You have a
Well, I guess now my first concern again regarding the air mattress becomes secondary, and the first concern then becomes why are the fire alarms not going off if there's more than a slight fire? Is
That's
this
what I told Doug.
are you
I
serious?
said, and here, can I be honest with you?
Please, by all means.
All right. So I brought this up to every single staff meeting we have. We have a Friday morning staff meeting. And most of the time they just talk about nothing that means anything. I said, we have to get these fire alarms checked because they haven't been checked in years. And what we do, the meetings a lot of times start with these team building exercises, which I see the value in them, but I'm like, we never get to the issues. And the issues, we have these
There's
concerns
like a
about
facility
the fire
manager.
alarms.
There's a maintenance person that should be in charge of all the Kohls.
There is, that's a great point. There is, but Terry left. He had a
Very
family
left. And
situation.
if you need somebody, I do know a couple. My brother is actually a kind of a fix it handy guy.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know his specific title. Just he's Handy Joe, my brother.
Wait, 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 wait. Your brother's actually Handy Joe?
Yes, yeah, from those commercials.
Yeah, I love him. If you need fixing, come to Handy Joe. Handy Joe fixing. All that needs fixing, Handy Joe.
Yeah.
Is that okay? So yes, first off, yes, please. If I mean, I guess I'll just look him up on the website.
No, I mean you can look him up on the website, but you'll never get him personally. I mean, I'll just send him a text right now.
Hold on one second. You were going to text him for us?
Well, I would like to be in a safe building. I'm invested in
Yeah.
this Kohl's. I've spent every Friday here.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly you recognize my face from the employee from the not the employee, you're the employee. I'm the customer of the month.
Well, your slip of the tongue is actually pretty accurate because we have an employee newsletter.
Did you see my face in it?
Yeah.
It ought to be there. That's what I paid
It
them.
well, it is
I mean, I've
there.
got my
And
Kohl's cash here and I want to buy this air mattress, but I can't figure out if it's a queen, a king, or a twin. And I'm not interested in a twin. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, no, no, no. It's a tween. It's a queen and a twin. It's a tween.
It's a tween. Tween seems like
Yes.
a real awkward size. Well, it's an awkward age at least. My son's a 13-year-old. Do you remember being 13? Oh, it's
Oh,
awful.
it was I didn't I mean it was
Absolutely
the
awful.
worst.
Body hair
Horrible.
is sprouting and smells are a coming from all the places that you don't want them to come from. And you
Thank you.
can't, as a mom, be like, hello, child, you are stinky, get in the shower, because they rebel against you at this age. So you have to just let them be dirty.
Wait, you have a 13-year-old?
Mhm.
No, what you don't look like you're old enough to have a 13 year
Oh,
old.
stop it. Oh,
I'm not serious.
oh,
I'm
Nelson,
serious.
Nelson, that's wow. That's very, wow, that's flattering. Thank you so much. But yeah,
Uh,
I occasionally do get carded for my alcohol. Not that I'm an
well,
alcoholic.
I mean, I'm not judging you.
I mean, I could be, but I'm not. I mean, I just say that I'm not. I don't know if I am. What qualifies? I don't.
I
Sorry,
mean, it's
that's more than you and I need to probably get into,
no,
probably.
I think we should get into it
Now,
because
if we're
honestly,
gonna
I'm
close
thinking
at an
about
opening
it. I'm
Thursday,
thinking,
it's not going to be in time for the fire today, though. It'll be like, oh, well, I do hope they get that fixed. I'll just book it. It can't hurt.
did did you still need anything?
Yeah, I need a bigger mattress, a bigger air mattress, Douglas.
Have you tried the tween?
No, apparently this is the tween, is what I'm being told. I want the
Yes.
queen
You
size bed for my bed.
you want
Now he thinks I sleep on an air mattress.
uh
Good one, Lauren.
I got a queen. I can ring
Oh,
that up for
oh,
you.
fantastic. Oh, I would love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a discount. It's the box is singed. The mattress is fine.
Oh, are you sure though? Because a singed mattress is not going to hold air.
Yeah, it's the mattress is fine. It was vacuum packed. It's just the box.
Got
So
it.
that's why I can give you a discount is because the box is singed, but the
Sure,
mattress is
I understand. You got to do what you got to do. I made this appointment for Thursday for you, and I think you're really gonna like Handy Joe. I made sure you're gonna get a discount too, actually, because friends and family. And at this point, I mean, you're handing me a bed. Who does that? Family.
it's here's your receipt. I just exchanged it.
Oh,
It,
of course. I'll
it,
just.
I put my number on there for
Hmm.
I mean, if you need it, I don't want to give you a
Oh,
mattress. I mean, you know.
sure. No,
Okay, okay.
fine. In fact, maybe if you needed my Kohl's card number, I could give it
Yeah,
to you as well, and then you could just
yeah,
look me up.
yeah. Yeah, that one sec.
Yeah. Oh my God. Am I gonna go out with the Kohl's guy?
Ah, ah, my arm. Ow, my arm. On the fire. Oh God.
Oh
Ah, ah. Good news.
is everything all right over there?
The fire's out.
Oh, what was all that rustling?
It was I was trying to put out the fire. It's out now. So
Were you look a little
d-
um
burnt.
got a little like nick in your eyebrow there.
Yeah, it went up pretty fast. I can feel it's
I
both
can
are
feel it sort
singed.
of just like drifting off of you, like the smoke is just wafting.
Apologies for the smell. So
Uh,
yeah,
well, thank you for the for the mattress. I hope you have a
you're welcome.
very pleasant rest of the day.
We aim to please.
You've done a really, I'll say, a standout job. I can't say if it's good or bad. I'll never forget it.
Thanks.
thank, thank you.
Scene. Oh, that was super duper fun.
I know, like one of the sweet and great improv rules is like no transaction scenes, and that it started as a transaction scene, which is always like one of those like flags that goes up in my teacher mind of like, oh no, my students are going to watch me do a transaction scene. But like one of the things I love about doing transaction scenes as a more seasoned improviser is like, I know I don't know you now, but I know I will know you by the end of this scene.
Oh, 100%.
And I
And
love
like,
that confidence of like, I know you know that we don't want to do this forever, so we'll get there.
I mean, but isn't every isn't a relationship scene a transaction scene?
All of them.
Right? I mean, they're all that.
I love building relationships out of nothing and finding what you can connect with and like just giving it space. I love duo shows for that reason, just giving scenes time to breathe and like not feeling the hurry or the rush of like people coming in left and right. And I love fast-paced shows too. I mean, I totally do both,
Yeah.
uh but the slow paced, relationship based like scenes that really grow is where I love. And so I would have loved to have spent a whole fucking show sitting at that counter just watching people deal with a fire while a romance starts building. It's like priorities are so fucked.
The fire went out, but then it started here, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Had to.
I feel like it's always, if you just make a connection, it doesn't matter if it's a transactional scene. The reason there are transaction scenes is because that's
That's
people
what
have them all the time.
transact all the time.
We do it all the time. And then you're like, oh, if I could just make the thing we're doing personal and not just, but you know this, there are every quote rule of things to not
Should
do.
be broken.
There's 1,000, there's a million scenes that have broken that rule. I remember my buddy, my buddy was in a class with this teacher who said, you shouldn't stand like this with your hand on somebody's shoulder, which is like
Oh,
you know,
sure.
like,
Yeah.
like this move. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just as like a way to like, you're pushing somebody aside. And this guy, and he goes, all right, two more up. And my buddy gets up there and he does a scene just doing that, and it was hilarious. And it's like, yeah, you can't,
Yeah.
anything goes, anything goes. And they say like, don't do it because, and I think part of it is, what do you want them to do instead? If you're saying don't do something, it's like, what do you want them to do instead?
Mhm. Yeah, I find that most improv rules are, made to be broken, but you have to learn them first, right? Understand why we don't do transaction scenes because they're boring, because you guys don't know each other, because there's nothing that builds. If you can mitigate all the things that we don't like about
Yes,
transaction scenes are fine, and stranger scenes are fine, and you know what I mean, and questions are fine, and no, saying no on stage is fine. But you have
totally.
to learn why you don't do them so that you can learn how to do them better.
Yes. And they're
So,
just like, these are just rules that are like, they're really tools, right? It's like, I don't know how, for me, it's what can make this moment fun and easy. That's all I'm looking for now is like, can this be how much fun can I have with you in this time we have together? That's
absolutely.
it.
One of my favorite things about relationships, and that's uh, coming from a Chicago-based training, like that throughout the rest of the world, I take with me all these relationship-based
Sure.
things, these lessons, and in doing so, I mean, it literally is to me the key that'll open any scene. Just know somebody or care about them. Decide that you care. Decide that you care about. For me, it was like decide I care about the fire, and then decide I care about you, and then decide about it's like not that
Totally.
you're a means to an end, but you are the end. You know what I mean? Like somehow,
Yes.
how I feel has to be connected to you.
Totally.
And if I decide, and it doesn't have to start that way, but it does have to end that way. It does have to get there. That the
Well,
way I feel has to be about you. So as we're saying like a distant goodbye as I leave Kohl's. You know what I mean? Like it's so stupid, but that's the only reason we're going to care is if we care about each other. So
and that's it. It's like, choose to care. Choose to care. Like, there's
the
no
ambivalence.
yes.
I mean, sometimes when I'm saying like, oh, choose an emotion and play it to a 10, when I'm talking to my students, choose an emotion and play it really, really hard. Your emotion is the most important thing. Hit it really hard in a class. Is that in that they'll choose like ambivalence or blase or something. And I'm like, that's not an emotion you can play to a 10. It's naturally a 5 and it never moves from a 5. That's the whole point. And it's like, it's very average. I was like, but that's like a safe place. It's like, oh, I'll just choose not to care and that'll be my. And it's like, no, you have to learn what emotion is. You have to really push
Yes.
something.
And you have to learn like anger
Mhm.
is so superficial. Play the
Comes
shit
from,
below it.
it comes from fear. It comes from betrayal. It comes from trust. And
Yes.
you know what I
So
mean? Like,
that.
yeah, that anger comes from another place as well. So just shouting is not an emotion.
My God.
Uh,
It's
but
just
you
like,
might get to shouting if you feel betrayed and somebody's not listening to you and you're frustrated and you can build that anger, but it has to come from an internal place and you can't just externally emote.
yeah.
And
I mean,
emotions are my favorite. Relationships are my favorite.
my favorite thing is like, if you get stuck in a scene, just repeat back what your partner just said to you with emotion. Just
Yes,
repeat back with something.
150%. It doesn't matter which emotion, however you feel, it doesn't matter. How you feel about it doesn't matter. And that's one thing I have I had a couple of students who like really want to get improv right. You know what I mean? They want to do it correctly. And I
Good.
think one thing that I've struggled with as a very imperfect improviser is just like, what do you mean get it right? Like, I don't know what you're asking me to teach you how
What's
to do,
that
because
mean?
I can't tell you how to do it right. I can tell you how I would do it, but that's not necessarily right.
Yeah.
It's coming from a place of experience and knowledge, but it's not the correct answer because I don't think there is one. And that's really befuddling for some students who are really heady about like trying to get the emotion right. And I was like, pick any emotion and feel that.
Yeah. Don't
And
matter.
it doesn't matter. And but then justifying it then makes it real. If you're
Yeah.
really mad that we won the lottery, hilarious. That's much better than just being happy we run the lottery. It's more interesting of a choice. So I don't care how you feel. If I'm like, oh hell, we run the lottery, and I'm excited about it, and you're like, fuck, hilarious. Where do we go from there? A million doors open. So it does not matter how you feel. You do not have to feel correctly about the stimulus that you receive from your partner. You can just
Well, it's funny you say that. I think like, yeah, people want to get it right. And then also a harder thing to watch is when people want to win. I want to win this improv scene. I want to win improv. Like that is very hard to watch too. It gets very tiring. And you're like, you know what's the best thing to do? You're at a place where you got nowhere to go. Those are the best scenes. Like you're locked in somewhere, you're sitting somewhere.
yep. Just be trapped. Be
Yeah,
trapped
just sit there.
or sit in it for a little while and just enjoy it and think about, like all the consequences, like instead of trying to just always get out, like have make the choice to lose and just be like, that's it, we're going to be eaten.
Yeah.
And keep
God, make the
going
wrong,
with it.
yes, make the wrong choice.
Make the
Always
wrong
make
choice.
the,
It's so much more fun to make the wrong choice. Making the right choice is fine if you're writing a screenplay or if you're writing a sketch or you're, if
you
you
know the outcome.
know the outcome, right, that you're trying to get to, then you make the right choice to get there. But if you don't know where you're going, no choice is wrong.
I forgot who said it. I attribute it to Viola Spolin. I don't know if she said it, but nobody wants to watch logical on stage. And
It's
I
so
think that's
uh,
so true. Be the
yeah.
most illogical. Don't be logical. Don't problem solve.
Yeah, and that's getting younger students away from the do of the scene. What are we doing versus who are we and who are we to each other, more importantly. That will rake leaves forever and talk about how the fall is going, but it's like, who is raking the leaves? I don't
Why
care
do
about
we
the leaves.
care?
I can't see the leaves. I can only see you.
God,
Uh,
I want to see them leaves you talk a lot about.
you've been talking about the leaves, but I can't see a thing. Show me what I can see, which is the two of you
Yeah.
being together. Show me that.
Connecting. What got you into improv?
Well, I've always loved theater. My mom's a big theater dork, and so my brother and I were big theater dorks growing up, and saw a bunch of shows and did youth theater and that kind of stuff. And when I got to high school, I went to a really good high school with a really good arts program,
Hmm.
and so I was like looking forward to doing theater, but I couldn't get a fucking role in the show.
Really?
Uh, yeah, no, I'm not a great actor. Well, I wasn't a great actor. I think I'm a better actor now that I've done so much improv. But
Okay.
I got into improv a little bit because I sucked at memorizing lines, but I was great at emoting. Um,
Perfect.
but I couldn't do both at the same time. So if I
Perfect.
memorized the lines, I was a robot, or if I was emoting, I got all the words wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is again something I feel like I've learned a little bit more as I've gotten older. But when I was 16 years old, I, uh, it was one or the other for me. And so I auditioned for an improv class at my school. It was a one semester class, and I got in because everybody got in. And that was my first dip in the toe, my dip in
Yeah.
the
No, dip
water,
in the toe. You said it right. It was your first dip in the toe.
dip
You
in the
said it
toe.
right.
I dipped right in the toe. Um, and uh, I wasn't very funny because I was trying to do it right. I was a 16-year-old girl trying not to be too goofy in front of people, because what if I looked stupid? You know what I mean? I had a lot of insecurities as a high school girl that
Sure.
did not allow myself to really fully dive in. But I went to college a couple years later and auditioned for their improv team, which was really freaking good. And fully acknowledged that like I'm just gonna audition. I've got a little improv experience, but like they're not gonna cast me. And they did take me, and I was like, oh hell, I gotta be better because they're really good, and I better step up. And so I started taking more risks, and that's where I think I really fell in love with it, was when I stopped worrying about looking stupid and I started worrying about I don't want to be the worst one on this team. I better start really working at this. And like I was like, I cannot be the one that's not funny on this team. Like I have to be good.
Well, they go hand in hand, right? Like you
Really.
stopped caring about how you looked, and I think it's if you can allow yourself to look foolish,
You can have more fun. There's a
more
lot more fun in
confident.
the physicality and the bad singing and the positions you put yourself in, and not getting the words right, dipping your toe in the thing,
Yes,
or dipping your foot in the toe or whatever
no,
I just said that was bad.
dipping right in the toe, dipping in the
Dip
toe.
right in the toe. The misspeaks and the moments where you flub up are the moments that are the best opportunities because they catch everybody off guard. You and your scene partner and the friends on the back line, like everybody's caught offline, and we all get to jump on those moments together and save them or fix it or turn it into something. And those are, I think, some of my favorite moments.
Well, it's the discovery and then the continuation of, and we're a lot luckier as improvisers than a lot of times like sketch writers because they're trying to invent that moment, and
Mhm.
then instead we can discover it as it happens and it's there, and then you're like, I don't know, let's ride this out for a little bit. Like I don't know where it's going. I know like we can just play, like in our scene it's like, oh, I know I'm going to just keep doing that thing. I don't know what it's going to lead to. I just know it's that. And I also knew the first time I exited, I was like, "Oh, you're going to be fine." Like you weren't, and that's something that is I think maybe comes with time or skill or something where people go, "Oh, if that person leaves, I'm okay. I'm not like calling them back." It's like, no, they'll be back eventually. So you discover that in the
I
moment.
knew you were going to leave me at the first minute of our 10 minutes.
That was a great 10 minutes. Where did you go? Ah, I left. I went
I've
to
got a bagel.
and so now you've gone from, are you from Chicago originally?
So I'm from Cleveland, Ohio originally. I went to school in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I moved to Chicago in 2007. I spent 10 years there. And then I moved to San Antonio, Texas in 2016 and opened my theater, Bear Stage, in 2017.
And now you're doing virtual right now, right? You're not
A
doing,
little bit. We're mostly not, honestly, because of great variety of factors. One of which includes that our scene is 3 years old,
mm,
uh, so it's our community is smaller and it's been harder to adjust to an online sphere. I think mostly there's a lot of factors, and one of them is me. One of them is the fact that COVID hit hard and the business closed, and a lot of things came up for me, and without me sitting in the driver's seat all the time for the community, that a lot of things sort of wavered a little bit, and I could blame myself, or I could just say, hey, what's up, we're all in a pandemic and everything sucks.
yeah,
So
it's a
and
fucking
I don't feel
global,
like my community blames me for that, but I do still a little bit sometimes.
it's a global trauma.
It
It's
is.
global, and it's hard enough to run a fucking improv theater. Like
Nobody nobody tells you how hard it is, Jay.
my
Nobody.
I got a buddy, Levin O'Connor, and he had rented a space out here for about a year. I remember asking him about it, and I was like, "How's that space?" He goes, when you get into improv, your first thought is, "I'd like to clean toilets." And it's like that is you are doing
Yeah.
all the stuff that is what you don't want to do to keep it going
Well,
for other
and I think
people.
it does, and I don't want to like put myself on a weird pedestal. I think it takes a special kind of person to say, "Hey, I know we all want to have fun. I'll organize it for everyone forever."
And then people go, "Oh, that's what Tina does." And then you're
Yeah,
like,
and it's
"No."
like, "But I also like playing. That's why I got into this."
Well, and that
It's like it's a weird mix of both, and I haven't always done it well, and I don't think I've like I haven't been perfect at it, but I think probably a lot of people who get into theater ownership find some of those similar hiccups. I think we did a great job for the 3 years that we were around. We're taking a bit of a blip right now to figure out what the hell is next, but none of us can answer that question. So
And the fact that you made
we're
it
riding it
last,
out, baby.
yeah, you're writing it out. And the fact you made it 3 years, oh my God, like that's a huge
Oh
success.
my
And
God. And it was a great space too. It's the real loss is that we lost this great theater space. And it was, I mean, it was hard. It was really fucking hard in the middle of all of this with our masks and our distancing to our close my dream. And it was we closed end of September, like officially moved out and put everything in storage, and we're just in a holding pattern to see what's next. And that sucks. But it was really demoralizing, I think, for the community and specifically for me in particular, that it was real hard after that point to keep putting the same energy into online improv that we did prior to those moments.
and
So
you've
we
got
did a
to,
lot. We did a lot prior to the closing, and then after the closing, partially because my balloon was out of air, that I could not keep going at that time with all of the online stuff, and it just sort of dissipated a little bit. It's not something that won't come back. It's just something that isn't back yet.
I mean, like think about last year at this time, there were these rumblings.
Right. We were just, yeah, we had no idea.
You know what and then you thought,
No idea.
you're like, this will be like 6 weeks.
No, yeah. So on March 14th was our last show. I think some theaters closed sooner than that. I'm sort of one of those like, oh, everybody's blowing it out of the water. And then by the time March 14th rolls around, I was like, okay, this is our last show. And we are going to do this, like we are closed after this, but we had so many tickets sold for the 14th. We had a big show planned, and I was like, well, and we did it. And hopefully nobody got sick. But we closed after that, and have not done any classes or anything like that. It's been really hard. We did do shows for a while, and we did sort of a improv podcast for a while. But again, all those things sort of like petered out at the same time because all of us sort of got shot in the gut with losing the theater space. It was really hard because a lot of us, more than just me, had really made that a home for the last 3 years. So,
And now people are like, all right, what are we doing next, Tina? And you're like,
and I'm like, I can't. And that's literally
I'm
been something my therapist and I have had to really go over, which is, Tina, it's not, yes, it is your responsibility to a point, and I understand why you feel this way, but absolve yourself of some of these feelings because you need to take care of yourself right now. And
you're
that's the thing that
you're
I've had to do. And that's hard for me as somebody who likes to be a leader within their community and likes to provide great things for people and likes to have fun with people and likes to do shows and be around people. And it's the whole thing has been really difficult. And so I think more so in the last few months, I've become more of a stronger mental health advocate for myself and others, and really have been using my role as a leader in the community to, I think, just make sure I'm still reaching out to everybody and kind of checking in and seeing where everybody's at.
huge.
When everybody does feel a little bit more ready, I'll have a better temperature read on like where everybody's at, so that when I throw something together, it's not like pulling teeth to get anybody to play. It's like, well, I'm just reading the room a little bit. And right now everybody's too low. I think if I threw together a show right now, I'd have 3 very enthusiastic people who have never stopped doing improv. Shout out to Ignacio. I love you. But because I'm sure he's either watching it now or he'll watch it later. Is that I'd have a couple of really gung-ho people who have never let this go and who have always been up for whatever I want to do. I'm there behind you, got your back 100%. And the rest of the community has very much largely, and no offense to any of them at all, has felt very much like, I got your back, but we got to have our own backs too. And I have no blame or issue with that at all.
And you know what? People right now are like, people hit the wall at certain points, some earlier than others, and some are able to go past it, and some are still in the middle of it. And I think it's like, it's really important. What you're doing now is just you're mourning. You're in a state of mourning.
Yeah, it's a lot of grief. There's a lot of grief.
A lot of grief. And it's a business, it's a dream, it's a community. All of those things have been taken from us. And yes, it is.
And then in addition, right? So like I'm somebody who has always had depression and anxiety, and I've been pretty open about that. And a lot of my coping mechanisms are then tied to my art, my friends, my community, the validation I get from all these sources. And all of a sudden, not just all of these terrible facts are true, but also my coping mechanisms all go out the window. And that's a personal thing. And I do very much typically have the the problem of burning myself out, like running myself into the ground, and that's what I was very much in danger of
Of
doing. Was,
course.
was mourning the loss of my theater and still trying to do it, and so I pulled back for my own mental health, and I'm glad that I did, even though I know it disappointed a few people in my community to feel like that I had pulled out of the community a little bit, and it wasn't for lack of care. It was for I. You won't get me back if I keep going at this level. So.
Yeah, you're gonna lose me for good
Yeah, and I
because
don't want to be lost. I want to be in San Antonio. I want to find a way to reopen Bear Stage. I want to be able to provide this stuff for people. I do feel like, the 3 years that I spent running this theater were the best and worst of my life. Absolutely, without question.
of
The
course.
best things in the world happened to me at that building, and the worst things in the world happened to me at that building. And it's a real mix of both. And so it's very challenging at this time to sit back and sort of feel objectively about it in a way, and try to figure out like what is next and how do we really come back from this. Is there a way to come back? What do we do then? How do we find a space? How do we rebuild? How do we do all this? Like we've got a lot of things that were going really well, but after being closed for a year and only being open for 3 years before that, like we're losing a lot of reputation, just sheer people thinking about us. We're not an institution yet. We're not a place that people have been going for so many years that they can't wait for us to come back all of a sudden. So
Well,
there's a lot to
you
think
also you could have also closed for terrible reasons that closed other improv theaters.
That's true. And it wasn't that reason. We're glad
It's
about
not
that.
that reason,
Yeah.
and
No.
it'll be like it's the good thing about improv or theater or anything. It's there when if you decide to go back. It's like, oh, it'll be there, and now is a chance for the community to go, oh, if I really want to do online improv, I can take classes from people in India. I can take classes from people in England.
And a lot of the gung ho students I mentioned have been doing so. My students I got a email from or a message from one of my students yesterday that he signed up for a class in Chicago, and he's done some all over the place. A couple of my students are very active in the Austin community because the
Yeah.
Hideout especially has been really gung ho about doing shows, and we've got a great relationship with Roy and Kareem and Jessica over at the Hideout.
But
And
the hideout is they're still like,
insane. They're insane.
they're insane, but they're also still like, we're on the tightrope. We could close at any moment. Like
I
that's
know,
what people
I know.
don't realize.
I can't imagine, and I admire them so much. Hey, shout out to Roy and Kareem and Jessica. I
Yep.
admire them, and Andy and Courtney as well. That I admire them so much for what they've been able to put together from like day one. Like straight up, they were like, "Hey, we got a Twitch," and I was like, "What?" Uh, like while all the rest of us are scrambling, they were like, "We're pivoting," and they knew what they were doing and have really done, I think, a pretty great job. And so I've been very happy to send my students that way because I know they're in great hands and with great people and will be well taken care of and enjoyed and appreciated. And some of
Mm.
them have found some really fun success and done classes and all kinds of stuff with them, and which I appreciate because I don't want people to. I never wanted to be responsible for your whole improv. I wanted to give you a place to play, but I've always said, like, if you're there is also a Comedy Sports in San Antonio
Mm, mm.
that's been around for a while, and sometimes people are like, well, I think I'm enjoying stuff over Comedy Sports more. I'm so sorry, Tina. I'm like, no, I just want you to be where you're happy. If
Yeah.
you like Comedy Sports more, that's fine. That's a different style than what we're typically doing at Bear, and that's okay. Like I fully support being happy where you are, wherever you are. So so every once in a while somebody like will feel bad for being somewhere else or like taking some time off for their family or something, and I'm like,
I don't want to let you down, Mama Bear. I don't
yeah,
want.
and that's what yeah, I get I'm literally wearing slippers that say Mama Bear right now because everything at my house says Mama Bear. Those are all my Christmas gifts.
But and if you look at the hideout, let's say, or Comedy Sports, what else is happening is behind the scenes are multiple people. It's not like someone who's trying to mainly carry the burden themselves with some people who are, working as if a nonprofit where you're getting
Yeah.
volunteer work. You have people who
Which, yeah, Bear Stage has predominantly been me with, teachers and staff.
you're
But
doing all the stuff.
part-timer contracts. So I've been the only full-time employee for 3 years.
And that's, that is something that people don't, people come in and they're like, look at what you've done. But it's like, no, you don't quite understand.
You don't understand. It's been everything.
It is, and that's and what happens is you will forego your pleasure of playing in order to do the other stuff, and then are like, oh, we didn't a weird thing, they're like, we didn't know you wanted to play. It's like, no, that's all I want to do, is I want
Oh
to
yeah,
play.
I get that sometimes when they're like, somebody'll, uh, they'll be putting up a show and they're like, we need another person. Who should we get, Tina? And I was like, I can do it if you want me to. And they're like, you? And I was like, can't I? I mean, if you don't want me,
Tina, can you tell us
Tina, who
something?
can we get for this show?
Oh, just give us a name, anybody,
I'll,
Tina.
I'll do it.
No, come on, don't joke around. We're looking for someone.
But I'm available. Please.
Well, I mean, it's something that we have never seen in our
No,
lifetimes, and it's something where you're like, I just gotta really apply some of these improv things I talk about, of like, I just gotta be in the fucking moment. I gotta take care of myself. If I can't show up
I know.
fully to this situation, I need to. That's something I learned, where it's like, I gotta take a break from improv because I
Well,
need.
and you got to realize when to edit too. I
Yes,
mean, I
yes,
think
you gotta edit. Exactly, you gotta edit yourself sometimes.
you got to edit yourself sometimes if you're scrolling too long. And it's like, man, we've been in this scene too long, and I'm doom scrolling. I'm feeling anxious. It's not going anywhere but bad. Fucking
Yep.
edit that scene. Put your phone away and do something else. Like I like that's one thing I have joked about. Is like, well, at least I can still do a little bit of improv at home, but it's just like me doing characters by myself and trying to rhyme shit with the TV, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. I practice rhyming in my head all the time.
Hmm.
Like,
Lane Spine taught me a rhyming thing when I was in a Shakespeare class a million years ago, and I play a game I play with myself all the time now. So
and when you're the positive thing about this situation is that, like, you and I got to connect, and you can connect with
yeah,
people that I guess it was possible. We could have done this at any
we could have
point.
all you click your heels together. None of this was impossible before, but
Right.
none of it was option one. You know, I mean, I don't think this is anybody's choice for best improv, but it is best case scenario right now, and it does open that opportunity. I did a show in New Zealand in May,
Oh,
which
perfect.
was great. It was like my friend in New Zealand. It was a stand up, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to do an improv show with us?" And I was like, "Sure." Tell me what time. And it was like a weird time of day that I was just like doing improv at my house. But why not? You know, like why not take those opportunities to really enjoy what is weird and different and unique about these moments? Because playing in the moment and being present is really all you can do. I mean, you
Yeah.
can plan as much as you want for your future, but right now, I mean, one of the things I was going to joke about is on March 14th, when we're having our last show, I also had an emergency team meeting with my staff and a couple of people from the community. And I was like, what the fuck do we do if we're closed for 6 weeks?
Yeah.
And we literally made an emergency plan for all the shit that we could do in the 6 weeks that we were closed to make money or boost community or keep shows fresh or you know, when we're social distancing, when we're wearing masks and all of that stuff. And then immediately on March 15th, every one of those plans was out the window. Like you couldn't
Totally.
plan in
Totally.
advance because there was nothing that was sure day to day. Everything in those 6 weeks, day to day to day to day.
Remember? That week between, like, March, I remember hearing about it. It was like March 11th, because
11th, I think, is the big announcement. It was
I
March
was
11th.
like, wait, this is something that's really happening. And my birthday is March 14th. And it was my 50th. So I had this big
What a
party.
weird special day.
It was a weird, so it was this big party. And it was like, I remember saying to my significant other, "Oh, there might be too many people coming out. Like, what are we going
Yeah,
to
what do
do?"
we do?
And then it was just like, somebody canceled, somebody canceled, somebody canceled, most everyone. And it ended up being like 15 people, which was actually perfect.
Perfect for what it was right at the beginning when probably nobody's got it, but also we should be careful.
And then
Uh,
it was like
yeah,
March 16th hit, and everything I had scheduled professionally and work-wise, done.
yeah.
Within 48 hours, my work for the year was done. And I was like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna make.
No, my scene partner and I were, my duo partner and I were going to go to on a European tour in June because we were in a couple
No.
festivals and we were both so excited about it. We'd never done international. I'd done Canada, but not like an international tour. And so we were pumped about it. And it was my first like real improv trip since
Yeah.
opening the theater. And I was like, I can go for 2 weeks. I can leave it in capable hands.
Oh my
I can
God.
go do me for a minute. Like I was ready for that self-care year. 2020 was going to be like the me year,
Yeah.
and it really became the me and only me year.
Yeah.
So I get what I want, but you know, in a weird way.
Careful.
So
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah, it's awful. I don't know. But yeah, no, I was gonna say March 14th, what essentially ended up being one of our last shows was supposed to be our graduation, like a graduation show of like our students who had been in the program for a year and are doing their final show was supposed to be
No.
March 14th. And that's why I was like, we can't cancel this. This is like, we can't cancel it. We have so many people coming for this very special occasion. But then as it turned out, it was a group of 10 students graduating and 5 of them canceled, or 4 of them canceled, I think. And then,
You're
and
like,
so I did end up playing with them because their form needed, like their graduation form needed like 7 people. And so I did end up playing with them because I knew the form, which was one of those one of those times where it's like, well, who do we get to fill in? Who knows our form? And I was like,
me.
I'm not my first choice, but I do know the form last minute because
not
we
my
made it up
first.
together in the classroom, and I'm very well versed in it. I've known it just as long as you have, and I'm the only one because we made it up, you know.
That's funny, Tina. Good point. Anyway, who can we get? Who
Who
can
can we get? What a joker, Tina. And it ended up being one of our last shows. But because half the class just, canceled, and again, no blame, I didn't graduate them. And so I just have all these like graduation certificates. As we were cleaning up the theater, I was like, I never got to graduate this class that deserves to graduate. And so like I very slowly throughout quarantine been going to their doors and like leaving little things on their doors.
Oh, that's pretty
Because
cool.
I have them. They deserve them. They spent a year in the program doing really excellent work and they never got to be celebrated on their very last day.
And
And
you're
so that's been one of the things weighing on me is like, we close the theater. They don't even get to graduate in that theater. We never get to see it again. Like it's over.
Oh my God. And
Uh,
from day one, you're like, we hope you're with us for the entire journey. The celebration at the end is going to be all worth it. Each level, you're one step closer.
well, they were so looking forward to it too. And they like, we're such a good tight knit group. At least one of them has moved away already. Another one's got another house. Somebody's got a baby. It's like everything has changed this year. And I don't know if we'll ever get that group back together. And that's what's sad. What's sad is I don't know what the future holds, but I hope they all know how appreciative I am of them for putting their trust in me for that one beautiful freaking year.
You know how you could get them together.
Hmm?
You know how you could get them together.
I
Zoom.
did actually. One of our first online shows that I created a form specifically for online that I asked them to demo it because that's all I could do.
Yes.
So I had them demo my new show, which we did a few of before, we ended up closing, but
I mean,
that's one that people are like, Tina, when can we do that again? Because it was a fun show that was specifically for this format. It wasn't made to be on stage. It was made to be online.
Tina's not here. Please leave a message.
Yeah.
Tina can't talk right now.
She's been out, dude. She's every once in a while people check in on me like, are you okay? And I was like, nope. Like laying starfish in my bed. Like,
I'm here, but if you ask me if I'm okay,
not
nope.
in a physical way. Like, are you drinking water? I was like, good point.
I'll talk to you later.
Let me get a bottle.
If people want to reach out to you, and I think when it's in your blood, when you're a theater person, improv, it's always there. And so it's like at some point you'll dip your toe.
Yeah, I'm not worried about getting it back. I just don't know in what format or when. So I'm I mean, in that way, I know that I'll never not be a theater kid. I know I'm never not going to be doing improv of some kind or creating something for many people to be involved in because I can't help it. That's who I am. I've always been that person.
Cleaning toilets, running out of paper towels, going to get those, fixing
Yep.
their.
I'll do the Sam's Club runs if it means that we get to have a theater. I don't love it. It's nobody's like first choice on a Saturday morning, but sometimes it's got to be done when you're out of Sprite at
Yes.
the box office.
And more than anyone where it's like somebody goes, let's do this. And you've got 10 people go, sounds good. And then it's like, okay, who's going to do it?
And it's like, yeah, that's been the hardest part is everybody's like, Tina, you do so much. You need to delegate. And I'm like, cool. I'd love to have somebody to delegate to.
Awesome. I'll see you later. Cool. Yep. Yep.
Good idea, Tina. Get to delegating.
Tina, slowly backing away.
No, it's great. So I've had a few people really step up and really step into roles that are freaking fantastic, and I'm forever grateful and could never pay them enough to show them that appreciation. There's just no art in this, or no money in this art,
There's
but
no art in your money. There's no
there's
art.
no art in my money, but there is money in my art. Just
Uh,
hemorrhaging. There's not a lot of money left in my art, but it's hemorrhaging. It's all
uh,
going to a storage unit on I-10.
God, that'd be a place to put up a show.
Yeah, right. We did think about doing one, and then I was like, Tina, I'm too tired.
um, if people want to follow what you're doing or
Right.
connect or anything,
So
what's
Bear
the best
Stage
way?
on Facebook is BEXAR STAGE. BEXAR is the name of the county that San Antonio sits in, Bear County. So everybody in San Antonio says Bear, and they understand it, and everybody in Chicago or otherwise says Bexar, because that's how it's spelled. So Bexar Stage. My dad still says Bexar.
Oh my God, that's the
Um,
best.
so Bear Stage is BEXARSTAGE. And we're online in any of the places you can find us online: Instagram, Facebook,
Oh.
the World Wide Web. Um, there's a donation link on the World Wide Web on our website if you feel like donating to Bear Stage. Obviously, I'd love it. If you don't feel like donating to Bear Stage, do put it to somewhere that will benefit human people and not robots or conglomerations of money makers.
They can hear us. They
Yeah,
can hear us.
I know they can. I'm talking to Zuckerberg in particular.
Well, this was a huge treat. What a fun time, and
Anytime,
whether
man.
it's
I'm privileged and glad to be on this list of the extraordinary guests that you've been able to see during quarantine and be part of this fun thing that you're doing. I appreciate that.
I can't wait whether we play virtual or in person again. I can't wait to play again. Thank you, my
It'd be great.
friend. All right, ciao, ciao.